Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rawah Kodash. Double honors unto the elder apostles at Great Millstone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom to the sincere Hakim across the world. Now, I wanted to do a chapter about, the times that we're in, of course. That speaks for itself, but Isaiah 48 is talking about the stubbornness of Israel, the Jacob descendants, right? Which are the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Indianos, which are the ones that the salvation is for, but they're the most stubborn. So let me read it on that, and I'm gonna go off of that, Lord willing. But before I do that, actually, I wanted to speak about another verse, which is Isaiah 14 and 5. But I'll keep the Isaiah 48 here. So it says here, Isaiah 14 and 5. So it says, Yahweh had broken the staff of the wicked. Now the staff, if you think about it, back in the days, people had staffs when they were older and stuff like that. And it's a support. It's a system of support. So what is the staff of Jacob? The staff of Jacob, the Most High said he shall break the staff and stuff like that. Of water and basically the firmity of bread and stuff like that. And water and staff of bread. Sorry, wait. Yeah, it's talking about the support system. It's talking about something that you lean against. So the Most High said, Isaiah 14 and 5, Yahweh had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Now the scepter is something that the king has, wherewith he can smite you upside the head, or wherewith he can lift up the scepter and something would happen or something like that. That's the type of power that the Most High gave the kings of the planet Earth. And the king of a nation has a different mindset. It's just the way it is. He has a different mind. That's why he's king. You do have people that steal the kingdom. You see it often in these movies, but that's actually based on true reality. A lot of these movies are actually based on true stuff. But you have a lot of these kings that come into kingship because they stole the kingdom from their brother, whether it be twin brother or older brother or even younger brother, because they feel as if the kingdom belongs to them. So then they take it from their brother or their whatever, stuff like that. Little brother, big brother, twin brother. You had this movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, which you had the Man in the Iron Mask or something like that. He was a twin, and then they locked him up in the dungeon, and then they put an iron mask up on his face, and he actually turned out to be the king's twin brother. But he locked him up because he wanted to take the kingdom for himself. Those type of things. Those are based on all real things and stuff like that. But anyway, back to the support system. The Jacob descendants, their support is Yahweh. So Isaiah 14 and 5, Yahweh had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. The Most High is breaking the staff of the wicked. The support of the wicked is Satan. Because if you go to Deuteronomy chapter 31, it shows you that the support, the rock that we build upon, that we stay upon, is Yahweh. And now it is Yahweh Shai, of course, but the point is still that is our support. That is something that, for example, if you build a house, you need a support system, a support beam. Not just one beam, but support system and stuff like that. And then off of that you could build, because or else your house will be unstable. And Lord willing, every individual single Jacob descendant has to build up his own house in the name of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. It's not that you are making different houses. No, it's about study to show thyself approved, and the other one was give diligence to make that calling and election sure, so that you can actually help your tent. It's not, I would say save your tent, but it's basically save your house, And if you don't got no kids, Isaiah chapter 56 speaks about that. So don't worry about that part, because every person that you see up on the planet Earth is somebody's child. So the Most High can make it to where, you always a Jacob descendant. So the Most High can make it to where you will always will be born. So doesn't matter about that, whether it be by your forefathers, but there's only one. But I mean, like, whether it be by your brother or by your father's brother, which is your uncle and stuff like that, or even the same bloodline as your father. So yeah. Going on, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6. Now it says, "He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hinder him." Once the Most High start jacking Esau, nobody's gonna stop it. Nobody's actually gonna do anything against it, because they're gonna be like, no, you deserve that one. But anyway, the Most High is breaking the staff of the wicked, because he's actually exposing all the things that they're doing. For example, the CIA, like you had this guy Ted Gunterson, right? I believe they smoked him because he told the truth. He was head of the CIA, and he said that the CIA has underground facilities where they bring children to do satanic rituals, man. Google this guy. He was on YouTube back in the days, and his name is Ted Gunterson. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put a few links in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. Maybe I even said his name wrong, but Lord willing, I'll put the link in the description box, so I'm gonna correct myself there with the name writing and stuff like that. Now, he was from the CIA. He was saying these type of things. You know what I'm saying? But back in the days when the internet was, especially YouTube, when you could put a lot of things on YouTube and stuff like that. Nowadays, those videos are not on YouTube anymore. They're only on BitChute and all these type of places. There are a few here scattered there and here and here and there up on YouTube, but most of the time on YouTube, what you will see is basically clownery, buffoonery. Folly is set in great dignity. If you do a lot of folly stuff, you're gonna get a lot of followers. If you speak the truth, then people gonna label you as truther and conspiracy dude and all that type of stuff. Meanwhile, if you actually look up the word conspiracy, that is exactly what it is. They're conspiring with a hidden plan in order to do harm or scheme. And if you don't believe me, then why don't you take that 19th vaccine? You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out that everything that has been said it is the truth. And it's like it is like how you call the thing again? The Tuskegee syphilis experiment. If you want to, you can roll up your sleeves for them. They'll show you. They'll show you how they really feel about you. And you should know already. You shouldn't need that in order for you to be solidified in your mind, like, no, that's solid. The hatred is solid, It's the perpetual hatred. But anyway, Micah 5 and 10, which says, "It shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots." Because a lot of our people, what they're doing is, they're betting on the power of Esau, whether it be in the military in America, whether it be in the military here in Europe. They're betting on it, right? Verse 11, "And I will cut off the cities of thy land and throw down all thy strongholds." One of the strongholds that they have in the mental strongholds, which is actually one of the more powerful ones, is the stronghold that they have in the minds of the Jacob descendants. They live in the minds of the Jacob descendants rent-free. They live in their minds perpetually. A lot of Jacob descendants, all they can think about is Esau. For example, even the so-called Pan-Africanism guys, they never go back to Africa. They never go back to Africa. You might say the same thing about us, but then again, wait a minute. We have an explanation. First and foremost, Africa is not a land. Second, Israel is not a land. And third, we can't go back there because of the curses. And second, it's going to be a war if we was to really actually physically go there. It's going to be a war because you're going to battle against them because they have ownership of the land right now at this moment in time. So you would have to go to war with them, which anybody that goes to war with Esau, you're going to find out that the Most High blessed him with the sword. The modern day sword is the gun. You're going to find out that that's not a good idea. And if you do it individually, hey, that's something else. You might win that thing. But if you do too many of them, you win too many of them, like I'm talking outside of the ring, they're going to call the cops on you. And then you're going to lose eventually. Why? You shouldn't be doing that thing in the first place. Anyway, so it says right here. So eventually they're still going to win. because that is the blessing that has been given unto him. And that is not because they're stronger, because the scriptures in the same chapter says that the Jacob descendants are stronger than Esau. Jacob is stronger than Esau, mentally, physically, but because of the curses, and the Most High pulled us down so that, we will lose eventually. Therefore, they are above us. Deuteronomy 28 also shows that our enemy, actually the strangers that in us in our midst, which at that time were the Midianites, it were the Canaanites, Mizraim, which are the Philistines and stuff like that. You had them in our midst, and those were actually getting higher above because of the curses that we got from Yahweh Bashem Yashai because of what we did. So those strangers was actually talking about, and in that day and time, was talking about the Hamites that was in our midst. The stranger that is in the midst of thee shall get on high above thee. But nowadays, it's talking about the Ishmaelites that have these Arabian stores and come up in the neighborhood where predominantly Jake is. A lot of Jakes. I'll say that. And then you have what? Chinese stores, Arabian stores, East Indian stores. Chinese, I already said. Vietnamese, actually on Japheth, which is Yafan. It's Japheth. You could say Vietnamese, but they're not Vietnamese. They're actually from Jaffa and stuff like that. Yafana. I forgot Indonesia. Those type of countries. They have the stores, but they slap the country of, for example, in this case Suriname. They slap the country upon it. When you look at them, where you got that? Anyway, those are the strangers that shall get up high above us. So let me go on. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. And I will cut off witchcraft out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Because Esau has these soothsayers right now. These witches that do forecasts. One of his witchery is Simpsons and stuff like that. But that's not forecasting. That's actually doing stuff in the making plans in the 60s, and then it comes out in like 2010 and stuff like that. They plan 60 years, 70 years, 80 years in advance. Then they bring it out. But they do loose from that. They do have actually soothsayers. They do witchcraft type of things. Them things the movies that you see with, for example, Chucky. You have this voodoo doll that when you stab it, that somebody else feels the pain and stuff like that, right? Well, Esau has those type of things. That's why all the magic tricks, the magician tricks and stuff like that from Dynamo or whatever, just on YouTube and stuff like that. All these magicians that you have over there. I'm not filming you, I'm filming me. All these magicians that you have over there and stuff like that. That's why he's always trying to make a video talking about, this is how he did it. No, because they don't want you to know that that's actually really possible with the witchcraft. If you look up a video on YouTube which has Dynamo, how he put an iPhone into a bottle, that's not how he did it. They have tricks and stuff like that, but that's not how he did it. He did it with that magic that he worships. Remember that the pharaohs, not the pharaohs, the pharaohs too, but the magicians of the pharaoh, what could they do? They could do witchcraft and all that type of stuff. They could turn a stick into a snake. And the Chaldeans had it too. Nebuchadnezzar, his witches and his warlocks and the Chaldeans that he had underneath him, they were all magicians and magical type of people and stuff like that. Until this day, Esau makes movies of Merlin, the wizard, which I think that would have been a Jake. Most likely a Levite, but I'm not sure about that. But I think he would have been a Jake. He was a counselor, because them Jacob descendants had mighty power too, with witchcraft. So it says right here, verse 12, and I will cut off witchcraft out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayer. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. And I will pluck thy graves out of the midst of thee, because our people love to worship in Bohemian. Well, Esau does the Bohemian groves, but our people who love to worship in forests and all these type of things and stuff like that. And I know that they do that. In South America, I've seen them. That's why certain places, if you come up out the woods and stuff like that, the people gonna be asking you like, "What did you do over there?" If you were the group, If you're alone, they might not, question you. But if you were the group, because they say like people be doing demonic stuff up in these certain forests, certain places in the forest and stuff like that, and then them curses be coming around. Accidents start happening around here, and yeah, they got stuff like that, man. They got stuff like that. So going on. So it says here, Micah 5:14, and I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thee. So will I destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. So the Most High is going to get him. He's going to get Esau, because he's going to bring that suffering upon them, that vengeance upon them, that anger upon them. Yeah, vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen. That is the plan of the Most High. Because I remember somebody asking me, like, so what is the mind of the what is his determination? Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 8. For my determination is to gather the heathen, so I may basically display my anger upon them, and for the jealousy that I feel toward them for how they're treating my people and stuff like that. Because the nation of Jacob is like a woman collectively, and a woman without a husband, everybody can take advantage of them because nobody protects them. But as soon as that husband comes to protect that wife, you're going to be a dead man, because he's going to fight until the death. Why? Because he loves his wife. And that is exactly what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua is going to do. Because for a while, he let that adulterous beast, Jacob, he let us go. Like, oh yeah, you want to really love them? I'm gonna step back and let them show you how much they really love you. And they've been milking us ever since. But once that time comes, when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua gives us that power, we're gonna milk the breast of the heathen nations, which is their nutrients, right? Isaiah, no, it's actually Psalm. I'll get to that later. Psalms 58. But yeah, so my point is, the staff of the wicked is talking about their support. And let me get that real quick in Deuteronomy 31. The staff of the wicked is Satan. So Deuteronomy 31 and 31. Okay. Deuteronomy 31 and maybe it's 32. Okay. 31, 32, and oh yeah. Deuteronomy 32 and 31. For their rock is not as our rock, because their rock is Satan. There's another scripture that actually goes a little bit more, in, not more, but a different type of explanation toward it, which is Jeremiah 51. But yeah, so it says here, Deuteronomy 32 and 31, which is, for their rock is not as our rock. Our rock is Yahweh. Even our enemies themselves being judges. The Most High made our enemies judges, man. They judged us. That was the Most High's hand on the left side. So they ruled over the nations of Jacob. Well, yeah, the nations, I could say, because we're many nations within one. So basically they ruled over the Jacob descendants, whether it be the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom, and then amongst them, different within themselves. They ruled over Benjamin, they ruled over Judah, separately and together. Especially now, since we have planes and all these type of things where, the Jacob descendants are flying from one end of the earth to the other to live there, make children there, stay there for 200, 300 years, like in Europe, stuff like that. But anyway. And, oh yeah, Jeremiah. So Jeremiah 51 and damn it, son. What the fuck? What is that? Okay, I got you. Okay, Jeremiah 51 and 17. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. Because you're going to be confounded eventually. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to have answers. But when you have Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, nobody can confound you with the scriptures. Either they believe or they don't, but they can't confound you. It's a different thing. Oh, I got him. People love to say, like, oh yeah, he done. He's not done. What are you talking about, man? They use this word lightly, like, oh, he's done. Or the word toxic. Toxic is going through fucking chemicals, man. What the fuck are you talking about? But they use it in dumb ways. Just like in the book 1984, they will start changing definitions of words and stuff like that. Jake be doing it too. And we'll see you in a minute. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Be specific. Oh yeah, I'm gonna see you in 3 days. Now I want to fight now, man, because what are you talking about, man? I don't know what you're talking about, man. You confusing me. Mosai is not. I wanted to say the Mosai is not an author of confusion, but yeah. Anyway, but that's just an example of what I'm going too deep with that one. But that's just an example of what Esau is actually doing with definitions of words, changing it, and all that type of stuff. You know. I understand slang, but I understand confusion too. Every man is brutish by his knowledge, Jeremiah 51:17. Every man is brutish by his knowledge, every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. And that is what they support upon. That is their staff. That is what they lean upon, right? Verse 18. No? Yeah. They are vanity, the works of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them. So the portion of Jacob, the support of Jacob, the rock of Jacob is not like their rock. Just like Deuteronomy 31 and 32 and 31, their rock is Satan. That's what they build upon. And you have different names for Satan. You got Baphomet, you got Beelzebub, you got this, you got that. You got this, you got that, you got that, you got this. You know, you have different type of names and stuff like that. So even with Ashtaroth, you got the Queen of Heaven. That's one of her titles. Ashtaroth is another name for her. Diana is another name. The Statue of Liberty is another name for her. It's all the Queen of Heaven. All of them. Let me see. You have Valkyries from the so-called North myths and stuff like that. Viking bullshit. The Valkyries that's Diana once more. That's the Queen of Heaven type of shit once more. That's Ashtaroth once more. You know. And if you go back to it, it goes back to the idols of Mesopotamia, which they had over 3,600 idols. And the Canaanites had the same type of idols, but then they changed names and stuff like that. And nowadays, for example, you have Caesar Borgia, which is another idol. But anyway, so it says right here, verse 51, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. The Most High Yahweh is the one that forms things. And all Israel is the rod of his inheritance. All the Jacob descendants are the inheritance of the Heavenly Father. He inherited them, just like within the midst of the Jacob descendants, he inherited the tribe of Levi. So he inherited them, and then when you want to actually set some tithes up and stuff like that, Numbers 18, then you give your tithes to them. Now, if you don't give your tithes to them, then you're robbing the Most High. And if you do that, then the Most High is going to make it to where you're going to get captured, taken over, and then you're going to have to pay taxes and tribute to a heathen nation, because that's what we're doing right now. So that's why I always say, like, yo, just pay your taxes, man. Just pay them. Why are you trying to hide it anyway? Here in the Netherlands, by the way, Europe, you're not going to actually see the taxes in your. It's already counted for. It's not like when you see us, because in America, I went over there and I saw something cost $70, right? So I thought, like, damn, it's mad cheap. I went to the cash register, so what the fuck? It turned into like 100 or something like that. I don't know anymore, but 70 or 100 or something. What? But it says, and then they explained to me, like, no, it doesn't work like that here. Here you see the numbers without the tax upon it, like $70. But when you go to the cash register, they actually tell you, like, no, it's 100 or 90, stuff like that. It's like, why don't you just put the taxes in the money? Make it all simple. Now I gotta pull out my calculator, because, if they see you from another country, they might try to pull a fast one on you. Yeah, I've seen that too. Anyway, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh, he is army. The Lord of hosts is his name, Yahweh. He is the army, So, yeah. Yahweh is the army. He is the army. And there's a scripture also that goes into, I think it's in Isaiah 48. I'll get to that later, Lord willing. But anyway, that is the staff of the wicked. The staff of the wicked is Satan. You know, a lot of people call him different names and stuff like that. Some of them call him Lucifer. Some of them call him, which is it's just an enlightened one. It's not a bad thing, because if you have somebody that's named Lucy, that's a female way of saying Lucifer. So it's not a bad name. I wouldn't call my son Lucifer, but it's not a bad name. If you Luke, the book of Luke, it says Lucifer. If you look it up, it goes back to Lucifer. Jimmy goes back to Jacob. Jacko goes back to Jacob. They called Michael Jackson, they called him Jacko Wacko. Jack is Jacob. So they called him Wacky Jacob, actually. Yaikor. But anyway, that's not James. Also, the book of James. James is actually Jacob. You know, which is Yaikor. Again. But anyway, if you read the book of, I didn't read it. I read summaries of it, and I always promote it, always talk about it. That the book named 1984, George Orwell. In that book, man, if you understand what's really, if you look at that book, then you're gonna understand a lot of things that's happening right now. This is how these Edomites are soothsayers, man. They're witches. They do things, and they say it like 50, 80 years before, and then later on it comes out, and you be like, huh, what? But sometimes they actually do orchestrating. That's like me saying like, hey, you know what, tomorrow that bank is gonna get robbed. And when it does, they'll be like, oh, you're a prophet. No, I just know somebody that's gonna do it. I didn't prophesy anything. So they have that type of thing. And then they have the other one, which is actually literally prophesying stuff, because they do witchcraft, and then they influence the thing to happen through spirits, through child sacrifice or adult sacrifice and stuff like that. You know, blood rituals. You had a lot of those videos on YouTube explaining stuff with the blood rituals in Hollywood. They're trying to get some money and stuff like that, so they sacrifice their friends, somebody that they love. They sacrifice or children, which is something that they love to be hunting, you know, because the Jacob descendants is like this. Jacob is going to smoke each other for, you know, money's sake. That's one of the top things. And then they do it for females too. Then they do it for blocks that they don't own. And then they do it for colors that they don't even know what the fuck is going on. But they do it for colors, red, blue, black, and yellow. Different type of colors, man. Nowadays it's more than red and blue, because they have more so-called gangs that are connected with colors and stuff like that. But the original ones are red and blue. For Jacob descendants, red and blue, right? So they're smoking each other for those type of things. But what Esau does is he's just doing it for lust, for fun. Grow up in a middle class house, or even in the elites and stuff like that. They love to see people suffer. They love to just raise the prices and just make you suffer, because they have shit to do. They ain't got nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? They're too rich to actually, you know, not enjoy. They're too rich to enjoy themselves with the things that they have, that they are naturally born with. So what do? They just go out and do misery shit, like that movie Saw. That's what these Edomites is doing, because they got a new so-called. They have a lot of times they have these treatments and stuff like that. I'm gonna just hit up on one, that Ozempic thing. When you look at somebody that uses Ozempic, it looks like they got AIDS, because that thing will give you, you know, it will make you sick, man. You're gonna lose weight, and then your skin is just gonna look like you got AIDS. I seen people, not here. People over here don't use Ozempic, unless they're trying to be like America, and also unless they are on a celebrity type tip. You know, here celebrities could just walk here, ain't nobody running towards you talking about, can I have an autograph or some shit like that. They don't really do that. You know, they don't really do not that I know of. They don't really do that. But anyway, so going on, yeah. So that is the staff of the wicked that the Most High is going to break. He's going to break the support of the wicked, which is their support upon Satanism, that they are actually leeching upon. leaning upon and also leeching off of, I should say, because there is where they get their powers from. There is where they get their influence from. There is where they get their knowledge from. There is where they get their wisdom from. So either you are of Yahweh or either you are of Satan. There's only two paths upon the planet Earth. Now you have branches in the midst of them. For example, if a child said, I don't like broccoli, that's in the category of the hate. It's not specifically hate, but it's in the category of hate, something that you don't like. And if you say, for example, like I like these type of chicks, that's in the category of love. Or you say, love, okay, I love this and stuff like that, or I like this, but you get the point, don't you? It's all right. So that's that part. And now I'm gonna go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 1. Now this chapter over here is about the stubbornness of the Jacob descendants, which once you know this truth, you'd be like, yeah, certain Jacob descendants, you don't even bother yourself. I do think about it, like, they're really not into this truth. They're really not focused upon it. They're really, thinking about other type of things. Cars. you got a Jacob descendant over there, trying to blast up his car, motor, whatever the fuck that thing is. Trying to blast it up, spitting that pollution, let everybody breathe that dumb shit in. But yeah, they glory in those type of things. They don't glory in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Like in Jeremiah 23, and I think 9, or somewhere. I think 23 somewhere, where it says that, and if you glory in the Lord. Don't be glorying in your riches, in your material type of things. A lot of dudes up on planet Earth, they glory in bitches, man. I see multiple ones of that like that. This continually, man. They glory in money. They glory in cars. Glory in fans. Glory in might. I'm stronger than you. I do more push-ups than you. Because they glory in something that they are able to do. Which is just ridiculous in itself. If you are able to understand Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, that is what you should glory in, but not over another. I know more scriptures than you. Most High is going to chin check you with that, because that's not how you're supposed to be. Me personally, Lord willing, I'm like this. If I know something, you're going to know something too. Unless I don't like you. Then I'm not going to share it with you. But other than that, I just talk, man. I just teach it. Because let me get that scripture what I was talking about, which is, I think it is Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23 and what is it again? 29. I used to pull it often, but Jeremiah 9 and 23. Now it says right here, thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. Verse 24 now. But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me. And Paul was glorying. It goes further, but I just hold it at that. But Paul, he was actually glorying in the wisdom that was given unto him. But he wasn't glorying. King David was glorying also. He was boasting. He was very proud in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. He was proud in the nation of Jacob too. That he got the rule over this great people. And King Solomon too. Until he had them women. And it says his 700 wives turned all of them are his wives, but he had said 300 concubines, 700 wives. And all of them. Because he started to make temples for his concubines. So those are his lesser wives. They was most likely heathens, and the other ones were Israelites, but there was they ain't good too, because he test all 1,000 of them, and he said none of them is good. And that includes his wives. He tested them all. That includes the Jacob descendants' daughters. He tested them all. He was like, nah, none of y'all good. And from the heathen nations, nowadays, for example, you have certain of these people, these heathen nation females and stuff like that. You're looking at them, you'd be like, hey, she's actually more honorable toward her husband and stuff like that. And they're living in the fucking Netherlands, man. It's not like they're being forced, because if they're being forced over here, sometimes they are, but but the other ones, they walk around free without the head thing, and some of them are walking with the head thing, and nobody's forcing them, man. They want to do it out of themselves because they really believe, and they treat their husband a certain way and stuff like that. But it's not even about that, man, because it's just a big issue because it came out of America, like how you supposed to treat your wife. That shit is no fucking normal, man. Is in America is not normal. So for them to actually see these type of things that is actually happening all over the place, then they get shocked, like, wow, I didn't know the Asiatic woman was like that. I didn't know that the European woman was like that. I didn't know like the Jacob descendants of West Africa that live in Europe and also in West Africa was like that. I didn't know, because they're not used to it. So when they see something new, they make it into a so-called viral thing. But around the rest of the world, it's kind of normal, actually, talk about it. But it is getting worse, because you have a lot of Arabians that start to complain right now that their women are leaving them. Why? Because they're in the lands of Esau, and they get protected. Because if they're in their own lands, they ain't running away. Where you gonna go? That's like running from OJ. You're not gonna get far. If you think about it, back in the days, OJ Simpson was fast. You're not running away from him. So that's fucked up. You ain't getting nowhere. He was fast as fuck. I'll tell you that. But basically that's what you're doing. You ain't running nowhere. Look at Jonah. He was trying to run. You ain't getting nowhere. But he was trying to run from the Most High. But that's basically what you're doing. And but here, they can just get Esau to help them, and he will. Especially if you go to like England and stuff like that. Esau's there. He's really into that. France too, the country of France. He's really the Jacob descendants over there, the West Africans, they be taking the Moroccan females and the Arabian females. They be taking them, and like they can't do anything, because those Jacob descendants, they're carnal as shit. That's first and foremost. Second, when they fight, they gonna group together and gonna fight you. They're not gonna just look and see you beat up a Jake and they ain't gonna join in. They're gonna join in. So the Moravians, they be like, shit, if I fight one, I gotta fight them all, because they're like the same way too. Because when they get jumped, all of them get together and fight whosoever. But the West Africans is just as rowdy. I think even more rowdy. That's why they can't do shit. They even more rowdy again, with the carnality and stuff like that. They get down, man. They really get down. A lot of people are like, a lot of these heathen nations in certain areas and stuff like that, they're afraid of those West African jakes, because they do get together and fight. But loose from that, as a nation, they're not going to win neither, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua is not with that. Because if Esau really wants to get down, he going to get down, man. But he doesn't want to, because he wants that chaos to spread. That's why he ain't doing nothing. These people are trillionaires. Did you know that they can buy out everybody up on the planet Earth and still have more money than you can imagine? They have more than hearts could desire. Psalms chapter 73. But they don't want to. Why? Because rich people love to see other people suffer, because they ain't got shit better to do. So they raise the prices and fuck you over just for fun, because they ain't got shit better to do. They're bored. It's like a person that has too much sex, like beyond Diddy, like his masters and stuff like that. They're gonna start, doing other freaky type of things, man. And I'm not saying that is a normal thing. I'm saying that if once you linked in with some devil shit, then you're gonna do certain type of things, man. You're gonna be like, ew, is that what you get aroused off of, man? You need to be set on fire for that shit, man. But that's what they're doing. But if you have a normal appetite toward women and stuff like that, and you have multiple of them, and they stay with one man, which is you, then I don't think that you hopping around between them and stuff like that. I don't think that them spirits is gonna be jumping on you. because you are not sleeping with females that have sexual intercourse with other people. That spirit is gonna jump on you, man. You know, spirit. That's what I think. That's what I think. You have you hopping around with girls that be sleeping with girls, hopping around with all type of shit, man. Eventually, it might affect you. Now, some people are stronger than others, so might not affect them. So that's not for you then. But anyway, but I wouldn't do that if I was you. Shouldn't be hopping around in the bed because your bed is defiled. Yeah, hopping around in the bed with every female that you see. Meanwhile, they're hopping around with every guy that they see. It's not a good idea. Of course, we all did that. You know what I'm saying? I want to boast because I didn't really do that a lot, but I did it. But not like that. Not sharing hoes and shit like that. It's more as if back in the days you have these type of things. When you're young, you do stupid stuff, but when you get older, you start waking up and stuff like that, man. You start waking up to the fact like, nah, man, I can't be laying with this female, man. She just had just had that dude or whatever. No, man, can't do that shit. Anyway, Isaiah 48 and 1. It says, obstinate Israel. Now, if you look up that word, obstinate, it means stubbornly refusing to cooperate. It goes into, let me look it up again. Isaiah 48. Which is, you should. Oh, what the hell? Obstinate. Obstinate means stubbornly refusing to change one opinion or chosen course of action. They do not want to change their mannerisms. If you look at this, it's typically Jake. They're stubborn as shit. Once they in this, I remember this guy here in the Netherlands. He was one of them Pan-African niggas. I was like, oh, the fuck did you? Anyway, he got his shit from America, so that's funny as hell. And it was in a time where this guy was talking about that a penis is actually a extended clitoris. So I was mocking him. But if you actually check it out, it'd be like, hey, it's scarily true, but it's funny as shit. If you look at the development of a boy in the womb, that's why every male look, I don't want to say some dumb shit, but he didn't fill up in the trap. No. Check this out. If you actually look at a young male, right? You know what I thought? I'm talking about myself. Back in the days, I thought I got operated on and didn't know, because I looked one time and I saw a stripe in the middle from your ball sacks and shit. I saw a stripe and it looked like it was stitched together. So I didn't ask the parents. I just thought to myself, like, what the fuck, did somebody operate on me and shit like that? This is before the internet, so you ain't gonna find out like that. But eventually I did find out, and it actually grows sewed, I don't know how you call it, but once you in that womb, it actually it sews itself together and stuff like that. Man, I don't want to get too deep in it. People gonna be like, man, you crazy, but I found it out. And the point is that I was mocking him, but yeah, they're trying to teach him bullshit though. But if you do look at the development of a fetus, you will see that man, I'm gonna hit you with some crazy shit, you might trip up. The eggs turns into the ovary. The eggs of a man, those things actually turn into the ovary, the eggs over there. Not ovary, but something with the egg there. And the clit is actually the helmet of the guy, but then it turned into that. Mosai, hey, listen, man. Mosai is crazy, man. The mannerism, like I said, man, just check out the formation of a fetus. Check out the formation of a fetus. Check out the one of a boy and check out the one of a girl, and then you can see how it actually does grow. And you'd be like, what the hell? I didn't know that. Well, I saw it, man. Because the Most High said that in Sirach 42, but I forgot which verse, but it says that the Most High has not given the marvelous works to the... Wait. Let me get it, then I'm going to jump to something else, because this might be a crazy topic. You might be like, what the fuck? You was siding with natural Tahuti. No, I'm not. But he's stupid. He didn't say it good. Because knowledge in the wisdom in the mouth of a dummy, it's gonna sound not that good. I actually want to say it, but I'm not gonna say it. But I just glance over it a little bit. But it says here, Sirach 42. I already gave you it, but Sirach 42 and Sirach 42 and man, what is it again? 17. It says here, Yahweh had not given power to the saints to declare all his marvelous works. So that's one of the marvelous works of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai. How a fetus grows, and from how it grows into a girl, how it grows into a boy. I'm gonna give you an example, and this one I could back up, scripturally and stuff like that. Now you have this chemical called BPA, and another one from just burning plastic and stuff like that. Now that thing is actually synthetic estrogen. Now you have Jacob descendants that are actually born in Canada. I'm gonna put the link in the description box so you can see what I'm talking about. It's actually real. Might sound crazy, but it's actually real, and I can show it to you because it happened to the Native Americans. Let me see. Okay, I wrote it down in the description box. I'm gonna put it there, but it goes into wait, sorry, it goes into right, it goes into that. There's chemical factories in Canada, right? There's chemical factories in Canada, and Esau did it on purpose. You know what he did? On the reservations where the natives are, what did he do? He put there on purpose, he put the chemical factories that burn plastic continually 24/7. And then he came to the conclusion that the ones that are near that facility, they only birth daughters. But he knew it before that. But I'm gonna show you the documentary where he was actually experimenting in the black and white era when there was no color TV and stuff like that. Since then, because they have footage and they've put that footage in the video, and then they show you since then they was actually trying to figure out something, and then they figured out this by accident that actually plastic is actually synthetic estrogen. So that's why a lot of people that actually use a lot of plastic and stuff like that, they will turn into effeminate guys. Because the plastic will turn you into a bitch. That's what it does. If you use it, it's crazy. You might not believe it, but Esau got this little thing, and that is what he's burning there for the Native Americans. And this is how he's actually killing the boys. He's actually murdering the boys without touching them, because all the children, the majority of the children over there that are born are girls, and you can't really escape it because you breathe those fumes every day, 24/7, day in, day out, and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna show you the documentary in the description box so you can check that documentary out for yourself. And then the story that I'm putting the story that I have can loose from that, and then I put it together, and then I'd be like, no, it's actually really true, because in the womb, if you pump them full with estrogen, the fetus is gonna be a girl. And if you pump them full with not steroids, testosterone, pump them full with that, then it's going to be a boy, right? That's how the thing works. But anyway, Isaiah 48:1, obstinate Jacob, because they're very stubborn and they don't want to listen when it comes to this truth. Now, certain people are determined. They have their mind ironed with a hot iron. So therefore, they're not going to see that Caesar Borgia is it's basically a form of devil worship and stuff like that. They're not going to see it. And they're going to continue celebrating flying reindeers and stuff like that. They're not going to see the truth. And even if they see it, They're going to continue celebrating flying reindeers because that's what they do, lying to themselves, lying to their children, lying to everybody in existence, to billions of people. They be lying. And they continue to do it because they don't care, because they're not about this truth. They're not about the truth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And thou shalt not lie, right? Bear false witness and stuff like that. They're not actually focused on that. But anyway, they're more so focused on, what the hell? They're more so focused on pushing their agenda, which is bullshit. Now, Isaiah 48:1, hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, Yasharallah. So the house of Jacob is called by the name of Yasharallah, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah. They are come forth out of the waters of Judah. The whole nation of Israel comes forth out of the waters of Judah. So what are they actually eventually? Actually, all of them are actually basically Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's son, Jacob, Yasharallah, Judah, you could say. It's kind of crazy, but out of that is where the nations come from. I'm going to give you an example explaining that. So, here, everybody that comes from Eber is a Hebrew, right? So, Nahor is a Hebrew. And therefore, Nahor, which is the brother of Abraham, all his children are Hebrews because they all come from Eber, the same father and stuff like that. Terah, Nahor, and all that there. Okay. So now, Ishmael is the... Damn, I think the thing is melting in my eye, I think so. The sun is melting in the oil. Anyway, so, okay. So it says right here. No, it says right here. I was saying, Abraham is a Hebrew, right? So Ishmael is a Hebrew also. He is a Hebrew Ishmaelite. And then Isaac is a Hebrew, Isaac is a Hebrew too. And then Jacob is a Hebrew also. But then it becomes a Hebrew Israelite. And then Esau is a Hebrew Edomite. But my point is this. They are of the same seed and of the same father and mother. And yet they became a different nation. Well, that's the same thing with Jacob. Jacob fathered all the 12. Actually, he didn't father all the 12. He fathered all the 10. And then, well, loose from that, he actually did father the two others, but he was he was grandfather. I should say that, because the other two came from Joseph, which is Manasseh and Ephraim. Those two came from Joseph. Those were his grandsons, but they are his sons. That's why it's called grandson. So yeah, that's it. But loose from that thing, that's the example of we all come from the waters of Judah eventually. But Judah is the one that basically sprinkled Yahweh, which is the Most High. Think the Most High. That's the name actually, Yahweh, which is thanking the Most High. It's not necessarily, well, it is also, but it's not necessarily to be seen as, oh, Judah, but it's, that is the truth, but it's more so that it comes from thank Yahweh. That is Yahweh. So all praises to Yahweh. That's it. Yahweh praise. So we come out of the waters of the praises of Yahweh. That's first and foremost. And then second, you could say Judah. It's not a bad thing. Just like I explained it to you with Abraham and with Isaac and Jacob, for example. Sorry, with Isaac and Rebekah. Two parents, the same parents, two different sons. Two different sons, and the one became another nation, and the other became another nation. And the same thing with Jacob. He fathered the 10, and then the other two were of his son, which are his grandsons. The other two were Manasseh and shit. Manasseh and Ephraim came from Joseph, and therefore they are assimilated into the 12 tribes. But yeah, I hope you got what I just said. So Isaiah chapter 48 verse 1, it says, hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Yasharallah, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which swear by the name of Yahweh, and make mention of the power of Israel, but not in truth, nor in righteousness. Yeah, because you have a lot of Jacob descendants, they swear up and down on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but actually what they love is wickedness, man. They don't represent Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. They represent wickedness, man. They represent the evilness, and then they claim that they're doing it for Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. You know, for example, it's just crazy. A lot of people scream, Lord, Lord, but they ain't serving the Lord. You know, they serve their belly. They're about their money. You know, finna get that cash out. I know the shadow is casting down upon me right now. Oh yeah, that's why. Because it's winter time, so the sun goes down very fast. Damn. Okay. Okay. Oh, whatever. So it says right here. Isaiah 48 and 2. For they call themselves of the holy city and stay themselves upon the power of Israel. Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, is his name. So they call themselves upon Yahweh and they stay themselves in it. Because it says, for they call themselves of the holy city. Yeah, because they claim that they are from, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, the city, Jerusalem, and stuff like that. They claim that they're from that, but they're not from that. Even if they was born there. That's like the Israel of the Most High. You know, they are Israelites, but they're not Israelites of the Most High. For example, the two sons of Eli, they were devil worshippers, but they were Israelites though. In the book of Suzanne, you had the two Judites. They were of Judah, but they were called sons of Canaan because they was liars, deceivers. And they didn't just do that with Suzanne. They did it with other people too, with other daughters of Jacob too. But they got them to lie and to commit adultery with them and stuff like that. But with Suzanne, she put her faith in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, and the Most High protected her for that. You know? But they were called sons of Canaan. That's the point. So just because you're a Jacob descendant doesn't mean you're going to make it. Even worse, even further, actually. Not worse, but specifically, specifically, but not worse specifically. But even let me finish just what I have to say. What I wanted to say. Even worse. So, not just because you're a Jacob descendant is you're gonna make it, and also the other one is not because you're teaching the truth of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Let's say actually the 100% truth, like really, you still not guaranteed to make it, man. Because the Most High might have planned for you, and he might not. But you need to keep this faith and just keep on pushing continually. It don't matter what nobody else say, man. You gotta eventually save your own tent. Yeah, and if you don't have kids, don't worry about that. But save your own house individually, your own house, your own vessel, the house for your spirit. That one. You know what I'm saying? You take care of that one in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. And once you do good with that, the Most High is going to allow you to actually get others up in the barn too, so that, but he's the one that opened the barn door and closed the barn door. But he does say, he that cometh with me, you are able to enter into the door and able to get out the door again. That's basically how I see it. It's like this. You know the truth, you entered in, but you can go out and come in when you want. Meaning, just like how Paul was, when I am among them, I act as if I am of them, of the world. And when I'm with the Jacob descendants that are of this truth, I just be myself and stuff like that, okay? But when they see you hanging around with the heathen Jakes and stuff like that, they be like, hey man, I thought you was a scriptural guy. What are you doing with them? No, around them, I am as if I am not in the truth, not unto Yahweh, but not unto them, because I don't go around and trying to chin check them on every little mistake that they make. They might have their hair lined up and stuff like that. Why are you hanging around with them guys? They got their hair lined up. Yeah, I'm not trying to boss them around. It's great baby steps. Some people, you need to be patient with certain people. A lot of people, let me say it different. Not a lot of people. I wanted to say a lot of people you don't need to be that, but that's actually not true. I should say certain people, you don't need to do that. You don't need to actually prolong yourself and do a lot of things with them and stuff like that. And certain people, you do need to continually be with them, continually water them, feed them and stuff like that. But not all sheep need that guidance all the time and stuff like that. Not all sheep need that persistent telling them how to do things, telling them what to do in the scriptures and stuff like that. Not telling them to do push-ups or what dumb shit like that. No. But anyway, not everybody needs that. Not everybody needs a coach the whole time. But Some people do. And the ones that do, then the Most High will gather a coach upon you, and he will coach you in these scriptures. He will guide you in these scriptures. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's that part. So going on. Isaiah 48, and let me see. Huh? Oh, shit. Isaiah 48, and 3. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth. Because since the beginning of time, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua already set it up to where everything is going to happen, just like how you have the Edomites and stuff. Just like how you have the Edomites right now that are so-called doing things before it happened, or making movies of it and stuff like that. Like the thing about Kamala, that Harris female. That thing was actually in a movie in 2015, a series. In 2015, she was actually fighting Trump. I'm not kidding you. I have a video on that. It's a series that I showed that it was actually set up since before 2015, that Kamala Harris was actually going to fight against Trump. In 2015, they already had that, man. I did it again. Damn. Right. So 2015, I wrote that down, so I'm gonna put that in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. But they be planning stuff. Well, the Most High be planning everything before the creation of man itself. He planned everything. He's prudent. Yeah. So Isaiah 48 and 7. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them. I did them suddenly, and they came to pass. Right, you didn't know about it. The Most High just did it. You know what I'm saying? We found out later. And the other one was he told the prophets, the mouth of the Lord, the voice of the Lord, he tells them before it happens to the rest of the people, so that they know that a prophet had been in the midst, and that they know that the Most High is the one that did it. Right? So verse 4. So it says, because I knew that thou art obstinate, you're very stubborn. The Jacob descendants are stubborn by nature, right? So it said, I knew that thou art obstinate, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass. Because they're very stubborn, you know. They always got you got Jacob descendants, right? When you correct them and stuff like that, they get angry, or they're looking with their eyebrows down. I used to call this dude sour guy. Like a fucking sour sack. But anyway, that's somebody else. But when you check them, and their faces turning sour, because they actually don't want to hear it. Actually in their spirit, that they don't want to listen. They don't want to hear it. But then they're trying to twist it around on you, talking about you don't want to listen. But then when you check out their track record, you be like, you never listen. I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. If you are in a council and a monkey is continually disrupting the council, that guy shouldn't be there, man. Certain people should not be in the council, man. They shouldn't be in the council. Shouldn't people just, you know what I'm saying? But Lord willing, the Most High is going to take care of that, But I would advise you in the physical form, in the flesh itself, when somebody is being disruptive in the council and stuff, get that guy out of there. Joking, playing around and all that type of nonsense. But anyway, let me go on. Now, there's a time to joke, and there's a time to be serious. You shouldn't mix those two together. Even though sometimes you just be cheerful, and you smooth things up so that it is lightened for the person that you're actually chin checking. That's a good thing too. You don't have to be hard on everyone. Certain people, you be hard on them. Certain people, you don't be hard on them. You just be, very, very wise. Anyway, Isaiah 48, but what's happening right now is you have a lot of Jacob descendants, like, you know, they don't want to hear this truth, man. They don't want to hear this truth. Now you could I remember this guy, right? He's a new covenant dude. Never heard of him after that again. And then he was saying, like, I'm not running from you. I asked him a few questions and stuff like that concerning the new covenant, because it says about that new covenant, it says that we're going to be immortal. So I asked him, are you immortal? Until this day, I haven't heard from him again. But yeah, they don't want to listen, man. They're very stubborn. Anyway, Isaiah 48 and 4. Because I knew that thou art obstinate. Obstinate. And thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came pass, I showed it thee. Right. Lest thou shouldest say, mine idol had done them, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. Because that's what they're going to say. Why? When something happens, they're going to be like, yeah, you're my God already. You already laid it down like that. You told me like that. I met a guy like that too. Oh, man. Jacob is funny as hell, man. They lie into their teeth just to justify themselves or just win an argument. If you have to lie to win an argument, you already lost. Even if you won for that particular moment in time and you actually did deceive them, it's like a person that uses steroids or something like that in order to win a competition. You know? What's up? You won, but you didn't win. And you know that you didn't win. But nobody else knows except you. You know why you won. And that's basically how they think. As long as nobody catches them, they won. But they didn't win. You know, and they know they didn't win. But does that stop them from celebrating as if they won? Fuck no. Because they think different. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the mindset of normal rationality. That's like a dude, you know, trying to walk around like a female and then actually want to compete against females. And then when he wins, he actually cheers as if he is the greatest on top of the world. I'm like, why are you cheering for? You just beat a bunch of females. Is that something great? He really believes so. So, like I said, they think different. It's like a man using all kind of chemicals, drugs, whatever, and winning other men, and then celebrating as if he's the greatest. That's the same thing as a normal, not drugs using male that competes with females and then wins and then cheers as if he did something great. Because they don't understand. They're different. Yeah. Well, that's how you see the Jacob descendants lying to their teeth, trying to justify themselves. But anyway, Isaiah 48 and 5. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it thee. Lest thou shouldest say, mine idol had done it, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. Thou hast heard. See all this. Right? And will not ye declare it? Because you can't. The Most High is the one that declares it, and he sends his prophets. But anyway, and wilt thou declare it? I have shown thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. Because you can't. You know, because the Most High is the one that reveals secrets unto his servants, the prophets. And if you don't get it, then the Most High has not revealed it unto you. Therefore, when I speak to someone or something like that, and I tell them a few things, and if I see that I don't get it, I'm going to leave it like that. Because I'm like, nah, Most High didn't show it unto you yet. But if they're interested, they keep on asking you questions, and then the Most High is going to eventually reveal it unto you. He might use me, he might use somebody else, but he's going to reveal the truth unto you, and then you leave it like that, you know? And going on, so it says right here, let me see. So it says right here, Isaiah 48 and what was that? 7. So it says 7. They are created now and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them. Because he comes with something that was not there before, and then he fixed it up like that, For example, a prophecy, something that might happen within a few days or within a few weeks or something like that. And then he prophesies about it, and then it does happen, because, or else you would not know about it. Well, that's what the Most High is capable of doing. But these liars, they will say like, "No, I already knew that, man." See, the Most High been showing me that before you knew and stuff like that. But these are the type of words that they said unto the prophets back in the days, and the men of the Lord. Going on, verse 8. Yea, thou hearest not, yea, thou knewest not, yea, from the time that thine ear was not open, for I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously, and was called a transgressor from the womb. Because the Most High knew that you didn't know. He knew that you didn't know, and in your not knowing, there is when he comes and tells you that. So let me read it again. So it says right here, Isaiah. Why is this screen so black? What the hell? Oh, I have no idea what that. That's crazy. Anyway, Isaiah 48 and 8. So it says, "Yea." Oh man. "Yea, thou heardest not, yea, thou knewest not. Yea, from the time that thine ear was not open." From the time that your ear was not open, meaning your mind wasn't open toward this truth. Because a lot of people, they hear with their ears, but they can't understand with their mind. And therefore, the Most High is going to make it that you don't make it. You're not going to get it. And it's understandable, because there's very much... Look, if the Most High don't choose you, there must be something wrong with you, man. If the Heavenly Father didn't choose you, there's something wrong with you. I can't understand why the screen is so dark. Damn. Okay. Let me go. Let me just go. So it says right here. For I knew that thou wouldest deal very treacherously, and was called a transgressor from the womb. For my name's sake I will defer mine anger, and for my praise I will refrain. And for my praise I will refrain from thee, that I cut thee not off. So the Most High, what he did was, in order to not cut off the Jacob descendants, he kind of refrained. No, it wasn't kind of. He refrained himself from the Jacob descendants so that he would not have to cut us off like that. That's why we was given into the hand of the heathen for a set appointed time. And if you read Second Maccabees chapter 2, it will explain to you that the Most High, the heathen nations, they can actually go on and on and on, and the Most High is not going to chin check them like that. But he will rain down on them very, very hard in a destructive type of manner. But with the Jacob descendants, he rains on us very quick before all our sins reached unto heaven. It did reach unto heaven to a certain degree, Isaiah chapter 9, but he didn't let it continue and stay stagnant or get higher. He didn't do that, because he broke us down and he sold us into the hands of them that hated us. He sold us into the hands of them that hated. Yeah. All right. Isaiah 48 and 10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. And that's what we're going through right now. Because the Most High is going to... Well, actually, we went through it, but the Most High is going to make it to where we eat the bread of affliction, and we drink the water of basically troubles and stuff like that. That's what we're going to. And what we're going toward right now is being refined as silver and gold. So being refined as silver and gold, which is being purified. You got to go through some things in order for you to actually be purified and come out of that and have a different mindset and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you, for example, if you have a rich person, right, and they grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth, most of the times they're gonna turn out to be spoiled brats. I have no idea why the fuck that thing is so dark. Okay. Anyways, they're gonna turn out to be spoiled brats and stuff like that. Why? Because they haven't been through some things. They haven't gone through things. They don't know how to go through certain situations, and they don't know how to appreciate stuff. But when you come from a background that is, you always been in the midst of people and stuff like that, you know that money is not something that you just fall upon and just do certain things with. Then you're gonna have more respect. You're gonna have more respect for the things that you have and stuff like that. But a rich, spoiled kid, they don't respect a lot of things. They don't hear no, so they're gonna have a different type of mindset toward the world compared to you, that grew up around people that told you no, stuff like that. So that's what happened to the Jacob descendants. Why? We went through a lot of things, and then now we appreciate the good and we appreciate the bad. Like, no, bad times is when the Most High chin check you. Good times is when the Most High actually be with you, and you be with the Most High actually. And bad times is when you're not with the Most High, and then your nation is gonna suffer, as what we have been going through for the past 400 years, right? So Isaiah 48:11, for mine own sake, even for mine own sake, will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another. And he will not, because he won't give his glory unto the heathen nations and stuff like that. Why? Because the Most High said, I am with Jacob, and not with the rest of the world. Not with the rest of the world. Let me see. I have a few more scriptures here, which saith, the same chapter, by the way. Which is good. Isaiah 48 and 12, which is now subtitled The Redeemer of Jacob, the Redeemer of Israel. So it says right here, verse 12. Isaiah 48 and 12. Hearken unto me, O Jacob, and Israel is and Israel my call, right? Yasharallah my call. I am he, I am the first, I also am the last. So back in the days before Yahushua was upon the scene, the Most High is the first, and the Most High is the last. But then Yahushua came and said, and he said, I am Alpha and Omega. Yeah, he said, I am Alpha and Omega, which is I am the first and I am the last, basically. But the Most High is not created. He creates. I don't even want to go into that because I can't explain it to you. Before time existed, the Most High existed, and Yahushua was created, and therefore he has a beginning, and he doesn't have an end, but I mean, he has a beginning and he has the end of the period point time, I should say. But Yahweh doesn't have a beginning. He doesn't have an end. So I don't know how to explain that to you, man, because I don't know it myself. And I don't want to know. I believe it, and that's the fact in itself. So I don't know how to explain it, and I don't want to. I just know that it is, and that's it. You should have that mindset too, because if you're trying to figure it out, you might go crazy. Start talking to yourself. So it says right here, verse 13. Mine hand also had laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand had spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand together. So let me read it again. So it says here, mine hand had also laid the foundation of the earth. Who is his hand? Yahushua. Yahushua is the hand of the Most High. Just like when you watch a movie, the Jurassic Park, right? You watch this movie, and then the only person that you think about is Steven Spielberg, but you don't think about the 100 plus, maybe even 1,000 people that actually worked on this movie. Yeah, you had the sound guy, you had the clothing guy, you had this guy, that guy, you had the the reptile, dinosaur guy, the dragon guy. You had the dish, you had the scenery, you had the guy with the water, you had the, in the raining season and stuff, not raining season, rain scenes. You had the guy with the water, sprinkling stuff down and stuff like that or something. You had all these people that worked together in order for that movie to be fixed up like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one person. But the point is, in the end of the movie, the one that really gets the credit is the movie producer. Everybody knows Steven Spielberg made Jurassic Park. Ain't nobody really know the people that helped on with it. unless you really dig into it and stuff like that. But you don't have to dig into the Steven Spielberg, because you just see it right there. He's right in front of you. His name is in the beginning of the movie. You see the other people too, but ain't nobody really paying attention to that. Well, that's the Most High. You know, He sent Yahushua to create the angels, and Yahushua created the angels, and then He created the devils and demons too, which is in the book of Colossians chapter 2, if I'm correct. It explains it there, or maybe Colossians chapter 1. It explains it there, and then from there on, then you start figuring out like, oh, wait a minute, so you're the hand of the Most High. Yep, that's Him, right? So going on, so it says right here, Isaiah 48 and 14, all ye assemble yourselves and hear, which among them had declared these things? Yahweh loved them. He will do His pleasure upon Babylon, and His arm shall be on the Chaldeans. Now who is that? That's talking about Cyrus. In the book of Isaiah 64, it is explained that it is Cyrus. So it says right here, Isaiah 64 and 10. Declaring the end from the beginning and ancient times, the things that are not yet done. Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So let me read it again. Isaiah 46 and 10. It says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done. Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. And what is His pleasure? Verse 11. Isaiah 46:11. So it says, calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executed my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it. I also will bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. And where did you get that? Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1. So, Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1, which is Cyrus. And then also Isaiah 44. So Isaiah 44. So Isaiah 45 and 1 is Cyrus. He's that ravenous bird from the east. And he went to go destroy Babylon because he went and then made himself king of kings. In I think Ezra chapter 5, where he said that he took over Nebuchadnezzar. He was king of kings. He took him over, or was it Ezra 7? Ezra 5 or 7. And he took him over, and then he made himself king of kings at that time. And he was the king, because he was the king of kings, because everybody called him king. And Artaxerxes, he was also king of kings. It's actually named. They're both named. Nebuchadnezzar was called a king of kings, and Artaxerxes, which is Artaxerxes, he was also called king of kings. But anyway, Isaiah 44 and Isaiah 40. Oh man, what the hell? No man, page is just sticking. Really? Page is just sticking, man. Yo, that's crazy. My fingers is dead. I can't even. Oh man. Okay, I got it. Right. So Isaiah 44. Isaiah 44 and 28. It says here, that saith of Cyrus, so the Most High, you can read actually from 24. Isaiah 44, 24. But I'm going to jump to 28 to get the point out. Isaiah 44 and 28. That saith of Cyrus. Wait. Still need to go up a little bit. Let me see. It's the Most High. It's the Most High. If you read Isaiah 44, verse 24 until 28. But anyway, let me just read the point. Isaiah 44, 28. That saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and he shall perform all my pleasure. Even the saying of Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, and to the temple thy foundation shall be laid. Now that is in the time of Zerubbabel in 1 Ezra chapter 2, sorry. There you can see that Cyrus is the one that let go the captives of Nebuchadnezzar and destroyed Babylon. And set up the the temple of Zerubbabel. The first temple was Solomon. The second one was Zerubbabel. And that's it. There are no more temples. Well, in the physical form. The third temple that is being built right now is the temple of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua within the Jacob descendants. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The temple is within you. Right? And not in the building. So, Isaiah 44, I already read that. Isaiah 48 now. Let me wrap it up. Isaiah 48 and 14. All ye assemble yourselves and hear. Which among them declare? Which among the things declare? Sorry. So it says right here. Where was it? Which among them had declared these things? Yahweh had loved them. He will do his pleasure on Babylon, and his arm shall be on the Chaldeans. That's Cyrus. Cyrus did that. And the Most High is the one that sent him to do so. Isaiah 45 explains that to you. So 15. Even I have spoken. Yea, I have called him. I have brought him, and he shall make his way prosperous. And Isaiah 45 and 1 explains how prosperous he was. Nobody could close the left gates in front of him. When he opened up a gate, or basically when he does his thing, you can't stop him because he's going to put your ass to death. That's what Cyrus did in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. And he did it in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. First Ezra chapter 2, he explains that he does everything that he does it in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. Well, he didn't say Yahshai. He just said he does it in the name of Yahweh. The Most High Yahweh, he did it in his name. Right? So going on, now it says right here, verse 15. No, 16. Come ye near unto me. Hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning. From the time that I what? From the time that was. There I am. There am I, sorry. There am I. And now Yahweh, the power and his spirit had sent me. And who was that? That's Isaiah. The Most High had sent to the spirit of him. The Most High had sent Isaiah to go and tell the people of Jacob that all these things need to happen, and that did happen, and that must happen, and stuff like that. All these things. So that's exactly what we're doing right now. To the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, we're breaking down these scriptures, and he that had understanding, and he that had not understanding, had not understanding. So you have a lot of people you have more people that will not get it than the people that are going to get it. So let me finish this chapter off real quick. So it says right here, Isaiah 48 and 17. So it says, Thus saith Yahweh the power. Thus saith Yahweh, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am Yahweh thy power, which teacheth thee the prophet, which leadeth thee by the way that thou shouldest go, and also that leadeth thee by the way of understanding, how you should walk therein, and how you should understand this truth. The Most High is going to explain it to you diligently, perfectly. So perfect that you're gonna be like, why doesn't everybody else get it? You know? But that's because it wasn't given unto them. It was given unto the Jacob. The mysteries of the kingdom is given unto the Jacob descendants, and a small section of them. Many are called, but few are chosen. So it says right here, verse 18. No, I already read that. Oh no, I didn't. O thou that hadst hearkened to let me read it again. Oh, that thou hadst hearkened to my commandments, then had thy peace been a river. Just like how you see the calmness of a river is not really disturbed by anything else. That's how peaceful the Jacob descendant would have been if they listened and hearkened unto Yahweh Bashem Yahshai in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, we should have been peaceful as a river going on, and our righteousness as the waves of the sea. 100%, the waves of the sea is always going to be smashing all over the place, and that's how righteous the Jacob descendant would have been. Therefore, the waves of the sea. There's always waves in the sea. There's no day in existence that the sea are not waving. Actually, there is. I just said it, bro. I was thinking. Sometimes you see still calm seas and stuff like that. You do see that sometimes if you live near the sea. And even if you don't, you know that the sea sometimes is calm. But yeah, still, just as boisterous as how the waves of the sea are, that's how righteous the Jacob descendant would have then therefore been. Going on. Thy seed also had been as the sand, as the offspring of thy bowels, like the gravel thereof. His name should not have been cut off, nor what's that? His name should have not been cut off, nor destroyed from before thee. Now we did do that perpetually upon ourselves. We actually took away the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai. Actually, he did it. But no, wait, let me say it better. He took away the name because we didn't respect it. So we put away the name like, nah, I don't want to listen to that. I want to listen to the idols of Canaan. You know? We put away the name of Yahweh. And then he hid his name eventually from us so that we could call back upon him when we needed him. You know? You had this movie called The Domestics, if I'm correct. This movie where this woman wanted to leave the guy, right? And she's like, fuck you, man. I got my own shit. And then all hell started to break loose with the so-called people eating each other and stuff like that. And then the husband saved her. And from that day on, she loved him forever, perpetually. I think remarried again with him. But only when she needed him, you know what I'm saying? Because when she didn't need him, you know, she was like, yeah, fuck you. But when all hell broke loose, then she saw like, no, I do need you. But basically, that's Jacob. But then the Most High kicked us away, like, nah, go to thy lovers, the one that you've been hanging around with for these past decades and stuff like that. Go do that. And since that day, he didn't take us back. But now he's stretching out his arm. What's up? But now he's stretching out his arm toward a few of the Jacob descendants, man. He's stretching out his arm. And if you're good with it, you latch on to his arm, man, or his skirt, you know, in order for you to be able to understand these scriptures, man. You come under his wing, yeah, like a chick bird, like a baby bird, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you don't, Most High is going to make sure you will. Make sure you will wish that you were under his wing. Going on, verse 20. Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans. With a voice of singing declare ye, tell this, utter it even to the end of the earth. Say ye, Yahweh had redeemed his servant Jacob, and that is what we're in right now. The Heavenly Father had redeemed the servants of Jacob. What's that? Yeah, about the Bible. Where are you from? England? Okay. You from here? You West Africa. Okay. Do you know that you're an Israelite? Do you know that you are a Hebrew Israelite? Hebrew Israelite. You never heard of that? The people you heard of you know about Pharaoh and stuff like that, and then the Lord said, "Let my people go." Did you know that that's talking about us? The so-called black people that were in the time of Egypt and stuff like that. When he took them out of that land, it was actually talking about us, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and Indianos. That's talking about us. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing over here, which is talking about the Bible, which shows you that, like I said, the people that were in Egypt, that were being ruled over by the Pharaoh, that were enslaved for 400 years. They're trying to tell you that those people are those people that live in Israel right now, right? That's not them. That's actually us. They're lying to us. What they did was they stole our identity, and now they're walking around as if they are people, as if they are the people of the Bible, but they're not. Most of them don't even believe in God, and you know that. They have their own gods. They have Poseidon. They have Zeus, all those type of things. They have flying reindeers. Every year they got flying reindeers and stuff like that, right?
So tell me, you believe that Jesus Christ is blood?
Yeah. Yeah, according to the Bible. Do you have your Bible with you? Okay, let me read it for you, because it says right here. Let me get my phone, because or else I got like too many things holding and stuff like that. So it says right here, the book of Revelation, chapter 1, it says here, verse 3, it says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things that are written therein, for the time is hand. So the Lord said, blessed is he that readeth. So I'm going to jump to verse 12. So it says, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man. Can you understand what I'm saying? Okay, let me go on. Clothed with a garment down to the foot, like clothing down to the foot, and a girt about the paps with a golden girdle. So around his middle he had a golden girdle. Here it comes. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. Do you know who has white woolly hair? Yeah, but do you know who has woolly hair like a sheep? Who? No. Have you ever touched a sheep? Have you ever touched your own hair? It's the same texture, right? So it says that the one everybody calls Jesus has that type of hair. So let me read it again. It says here, Revelation 1 and 14, his head and his hairs were white as wool. Yeah, you can get it too. His head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow. Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. Yeah. You there? Yeah. Yeah, 114. It says his head and his hair. What's that?
Describe the glorious appearance of the figure of Jesus.
This one. Yeah. Let me see. It is the same place now. That's the texture, and then it says, as white as snow. That's the color. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. The white of his eyes were red because he drank wine all the time. You heard? Yeah, he drank wine all the time, so his eyes was red. And his feet like unto fine brass. Do you know what color is brass? Copper. You see that? You see that thing? That brown thing over there? That's it. On the ship. Yeah. Yeah. That's the same color as brass. Or you can Google it. Brass. If you just go to Google and you type in brass. Huh? Yeah, that's it. What color is that? Do you match? Does it match your skin? Okay, then let me read it again. So it says, and his feet like unto and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. If you take that color, right, and you burn it in the oven, what color does it become? Does it become white? Okay. Okay, so it says, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. That is a very powerful voice. You know, when you see a lot of West Africans, when they talk with each other, doesn't it look like they're fighting? Because you can see them on the other side over there. You hear them talking. You think they're about to fight. They just loud. That was the voice of our Lord, the one everybody calls Jesus. It was a dark-skinned man. And there's another one, the last one. Go to the book of Daniel. Daniel 10. Daniel chapter 10. Verse 5. So it says here, Daniel 10 and 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen. So he looked up and he saw a man clothed in linen, right? And he's going, whose loins was girded with fine gold of Uphaz. Again, around his middle was the gold, right? Like a WWF belt or a boxing belt. That was around his middle. It says, his body also was like the beryl. Now the beryl is actually a green stone. So he had you see the garment that I have on? But his was green. So it says his body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning. Just like when Moses, when he came down from the mountain, his face was all shiny and white because of the wisdom. That's it. It says, and his eyes as lamps of fire. Again, his eyes was red because of the wine that he was drinking, right? And his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass. It says it right there. And the blue one. And his arms and his feet like into color. Okay, so now his feet are brass and his arms. What skin color is he? See? But this is not what they're going to teach you in the churches because they don't want you to read this. They say that Bible color is not in the Bible. Why is he white? If color doesn't matter, why did they make him white? It does matter. What's that? Oh, what? Colonial, yeah. Right, but it says in the Bible that he has burned brass skin, and his arms also. So, it should show you that the people that the Bible is talking about is us. But these people are not going to teach you that. Why would they teach you that? We are supposed to take it upon ourselves through the power of the Heavenly Father to actually teach one another and stuff like that so that we can know, so that we can teach each other further. But now, Lord willing, you know these two scriptures, and this is the two first scriptures that I actually learned. So Lord willing, from now on, you know, He's going to be with you in your mind and start guiding you off of that. Just these two scriptures are the first scriptures that I ever learned.
Yeah. But how do you know those conspiracy, you know? But, yeah. So how do you keep going with Jesus Christ? How do you talk to Him?
Lord willing, He's going to talk to you. John chapter 16, verse 15, it says that, let me show you. John 15. Sorry, John 15 and 16, it says here, it says that, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, He may give it you. So it says again, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. So you just ask me like, how do I talk? No, the Lord talked to me. I just be like, you know, this is the understanding and stuff like that. So you start understanding stuff. So you start seeing stuff. Now the word conspiracy, you know what that means? Because you just said conspiracy. Do you know what it means? No, they changed the meaning of the word. If you just go to the dictionary, it says here, conspiracy, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. That is it. That's what it means. It has nothing to do with lies. It's literally a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Plot, scheme, plotting, collusion. The action of plotting or conspiring. Conspiring is conspiracy is when a group of people, they are plotting something to do something wicked. That is a conspiracy. What they're trying to tell you with conspiracy is not the truth. They're lying to you. And the thing is, a lot of people don't grab up the dictionary and look up the meaning of words. Therefore, they can say whatever they want. Conspiracy is like, for example, me and you get together and we are going to do something wicked with that guy. That is a conspiracy. and they have been. Look, if you then therefore go to Google again, and then you type in, how many. Here. Type in conspiracies that turned out to be true. 10 unbelievable conspiracy theories that were actually true. And now it says 11. So basically, now that I gave you these informations and stuff like that, you need to go check them out. This 11 unbelievable conspiracy theories that were actually true. And what did they do? The Tuskegee syphilis experiment is number one. Have you ever heard about that? The government was doing secret experiments upon so-called black people, and he was injecting them with the syphilis. They was injecting us with syphilis. Nobody wanted to believe that until actually they themselves said it, like, yeah, we did that. Because they hate you. They hate us. So they give us syphilis. Where do you think AIDS come from? You think AIDS is just something that somebody made? I mean, like, it just spontaneously came in nature? AIDS? Why was AIDS hit in West Africa? I'm gonna give you an example. Before 1990s, did AIDS ever exist in the world? Never. It never existed. It did not exist. So where did it come from? Remember, in the 70s, the Caucasian people, they started to work with DNA. That's how they used to catch serial killers and all these criminals, right? That's when the DNA thing started to pop up. But that's around the time that the AIDS started to come out. Why? Because now he has the technology to work with blood and to do all these type of things, inject people with sicknesses and illnesses and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, the AIDS just came out. But 10 years before that, so the AIDS came out in the 80s. But 10 years before that, he started to experiment with blood, DNA. Then when you do a crime, then they find out your DNA is there. Oh, you did it and stuff like that. In the beginning, they couldn't pinpoint you. They could only say his blood type is A or B or whatever, stuff like that. But then later on, they started to perfect it. They'd be like, no, it's just like a fingerprint. You should think about it. Like, where did AIDS come from, and why wasn't AIDS in the 70s? Why was AIDS not in the 60s, 50s, 40s? Where did it come from? See? Now you gotta understand, like, wait a minute, who hates us the most? Who's always experimenting in the laboratory with diseases? Okay. The Caucasian people, the Edomites, they're the so-called white race. They're the only one that actually goes about and experiments with blood and does a lot of. I have another article here. This is the last one because I gotta go. This is another article here. Oh man, I can't even bend my fingers. Alarm as Dutch scientists check this out. It says here, this is from UK. Oh, this is from UKindependentco.com. Okay, this is their official website. Alarm as Dutch lab creates highly contagious killer flu. Why you do that? And this was published in 2011.
Dutch people.
Yeah.
For what?
What do you think?
Brother, it was really nice to meet you.
It's good, okay, brother. Yeah.
Man.
Lord willing.
Appreciate it.
Lord willing, you go. Remember these things. Lord willing. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's good, brother. Yes.
Lucas.
That's good. You meet Yamada. Yeah? Let's go. Yes. Right. And these were the first things that I actually learned in this truth. I learned that the Lord is a dark-skinned man with woolly hair, and I heard that, and since that day, everything started to change, man. And the original person that actually taught me this, I haven't seen this guy in like, I think 10 years or something like that. I haven't seen him. The original guy that taught me this. It was a guy from the same country as mine. And he wasn't even really like that in the scriptures. And when I heard it, he said, yeah, the Israelites are actually dark-skinned people. I had no idea what he actually was saying. You know? No understanding whatsoever. He just told me that Yahweh, well, he didn't say Yahweh. He just told me that Yahweh Shai was a dark-skinned man with woolly hair. I was set from that day on. You know? From that day on, it didn't come quickly. It didn't come speedily and stuff like that. It was a process of time. It was a process of time. It maybe took like a few years. I remember not remember actually, but he told me around, I don't even know anymore, man. He told me around maybe like 1999 or something, or even earlier than that. But I don't think it was earlier. I think it was 1999 or 2001, 2, 3. I don't even know anymore, man. Damn. Maybe 2000. I don't know. It's crazy. I just never actually really pinpointed it. But he told me though. And since that date, it took maybe like 4, 5, 6 years after that or something like that. And I really started to understand what he actually said. It took kind of a long time. But then in 2007, I saw the elder apostles and stuff like that on YouTube for the first time, and since then I started to go on that. So, hey, that little bit of itty thing that I gave him right there, and you know what's crazy? He didn't even know what I was talking about. But that's how the Spirit of the Lord works, man. Because I know he had to go. I should have wore thicker clothes, man. Shit. So yeah, with that, I'm going to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahshua, Ba'ashem, double honor unto the elder apostles at Great Millstone for the teachings of the scriptures among other things, and shalom to the sincere Akim across the world. And yeah, the screen is a little bit better. It's not that dark no more. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.